Donald Trump has tweeted out in support of Elon Musk, who reopened his factory in defiance of a county order saying he could not reopen his factory. And the story is extremely annoying and weird. There's a lot of people in media that are absolutely desperate for some kind of smear against Elon Musk, and it's for tribal reasons. For some reason, the left just doesn't seem to like the guy as of recent, and it may be because he's calling out the lockdown. Our country has been shut down for the most part. States have been shuttering their economies, issuing orders over what businesses can start to reopen. And Elon Musk has called this out, saying many of these orders are unconstitutional. Now, because that falls in line with Donald Trump and how he said liberate certain states, it becomes a tribal argument that makes literally no sense. There are a lot of problems with the lockdown. We're facing starvation, hunger. People are straight up saying, employees of Elon Musk, to media outlets, either we work or we don't feed our families. Yet many high-profile leftists are arguing that Elon Musk is putting them at risk. They could just choose not to work. Elon Musk isn't forcing them to come back to the factory. But this has become a tribal issue where the facts don't matter. So now that Donald Trump is tweeting in support of Elon Musk, I can only imagine things will start to escalate from here. The story is weird, and somehow Elon Musk has become the champion of defying virus stay-home orders. Conservatives are rallying behind him. The left is rallying against him. And I gotta say, look, you know where my bias tends to lie. I think the data and numerous stories that have emerged have shown Elon Musk is correct here. I mean, it's the weirdest thing that you have everything right now in favor of Elon Musk. The governor of California saying time to reopen. The local mayor saying time to reopen. Donald Trump saying time to reopen. But the county defying this. And all of a sudden you get the high profile leftists, people you know and love, like this Robert Wright guy, going after Elon Musk, even though the data and the politicians and the Democrats are supporting him, or at least their policies are. This shows us the completely nonsensical nature of the tribalist lockdown orders. Let me show you this story real quick from NPR. Hospitals are losing revenue and more than 1 million healthcare workers have lost their jobs. Clearly, this doesn't make sense. So is Elon Musk completely correct? I don't know, but for the most part, he is operating within the rules of the town, of what the governor wants, and he's having a dispute with one county official, I suppose. Because of this, it's become a completely tribal issue. This story is so dumb. This other Democrats chiming in. This news cycle is so absolutely stupid. But hey, we're talking about Elon Musk and the reopening. So there are some important issues. Like I mentioned, the hospital workers, restaurants are starting to reopen. We're seeing churches defy these lockdown orders. And Elon Musk is now like the highest profile individual. So expect more media smears, expect more lies. Let's break down the story and see where we're at. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's several ways you can give, but the best thing you can do is just share this video, because what I'm going to try and do is break down the nonsensical nature of the weird leftist defiance of Elon Musk. I really can't understand. I'm seeing my friends on Facebook be like, Elon Musk is a bad person. He's trash. And I'm like, for what? Look, you can argue the guys have got bad character, I suppose, but he wants to reopen his factory. Look, maybe this video will shake some sense into these people. I guess sharing really does help. If you just want to watch, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And I hope you're prepared to waste some time talking about the absurdities of the modern culture war and how for some reason I have to talk about this, I guess. According to CNBC, President Donald Trump defended Tesla CEO Elon Musk's calls to resume production at the company's Fremont, California plant. Musk has been pushing to restart his California production that had stopped March 23rd due to the coronavirus pandemic, though attempts to return have been met with heavy resistance from local authorities. On Monday, local TV broadcasters showed employees' cars streaming into the company's parking lots. Musk also tweeted a confirmation that Tesla had resumed production Monday afternoon and dared the local sheriff's office to arrest him. No, he didn't. He said, I ask if anyone, is going to be arrested. It's only me. On Monday, the Alameda County Sheriff's Office and Alameda County Public Health Care Services Agency said in a statement, today, May 11th, we learned that the Tesla factory in Fremont had opened beyond minimum basic operations. We have notified Tesla that they can only maintain minimum basic operations until we have an approved plan that can be implemented in accordance with the local public health order. Musk threatened Saturday to pull Tesla out of California amid a dispute with Alameda County, where Fremont is located, over the shutdown. Tesla also filed a lawsuit against the county, asking a federal court to invalidate orders by local authorities that have prevented the automaker from resuming production. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin backed Musk on Monday. Now, he said, all right, let me just read it. I agree with Elon Musk. He's one of the biggest employers and manufacturers in California, and California should prioritize doing whatever they need to do to solve those health issues so that he can open quickly and safely. I find it absolutely fascinating that many workers are speaking up, sort of in defense of Musk. Many workers have the choice not to come. Yet the narrative emerging from the left is just lock everything down. And I got to tell you, I have no idea what their logic is. As we've seen over the past several years, anything Trump says must be wrong. So here we go. Let me read you this from The Verge. They say, the workers who spoke to The Verge described difficult decisions they made about whether or not they should report in this week, as their employer and CEO wages a public battle with local officials. Since they are both hourly workers, they won't be paid if they stay home. If they do go in, they will make less than they used to, thanks to recent company-wide pay cuts. And while Tesla previously told its employees that they can use paid time off days to stay home if they feel uncomfortable coming in, the company recently cashed out many of those workers' remaining PTO days because of the extended furlough. Now, hold on. If you don't work, you don't get paid. That's true for everyone. But of course, you can see the bias in the media desperately trying to spin this as some kind of negative. Quote, it's either we feed our families or go hungry at this point, said one who decided to go into the factory. The other is staying home. I love my job personally, just tired of feeling like a chess piece, this person said. They also said they wouldn't feel safe assembling cars right now because it requires such close quarters work. We get lured in by the Tesla dream of saving the planet only to get treated so poorly that even though I love my job, I'm not willing to risk my health for him. Why would anyone risk their health for an employer? You shouldn't. An employer shouldn't expect it of you. And according to the statements published by Elon Musk, they're not. He has said, if you feel unsafe, you don't have to come in, and they're implementing a ton of safety procedures. But more importantly, Governor Gavin Newsom has said, we're at the phase where manufacturing can restart. So I don't understand what this is supposed to be about. But of course, the tribal issues will play a role in this. As we've seen many conservatives protest for the economies to be restarted, for businesses to be reopened, naturally, they're going to rally around Elon Musk, just like the president is. But I have to say, it is really strange that right now you'll see people like this Robert Wright guy. And boy, is he kind of, he's I'll leave it at that. I'm trying to avoid being overly insulting to the guy. But take a look at this tweet. Billionaires who think they're above the law and risk the lives of workers shouldn't get away with it. Tell Elon Musk to close his factory until health experts say it's safe. Boycott Tesla. Why? No one has to show up if they don't want to. He straight up said that. But let me tell you something. As this lockdown continues, do you know who benefits? The billionaires. This is the guy who tweeted out not that long ago that billionaires had made billions of dollars during the lockdown and the poor people are getting nothing. Yet now he's criticizing Elon Musk for reopening his factory and giving jobs to these people. Let me tell you, when you shut down all these small businesses and restaurants, there's a reason why they're defying these orders. You know, we're not seeing the cops show up to Walmart and arresting the manager. They're showing up to salons and barbershops and bars and arresting these small business owners. You know why? They don't have the luxury of selling something essential. I'll do air quotes. You'll end up with stores like Walmart. They can remain open because they're selling food, right? But then someone can go there and get a new pair of shoes, but the local shoe store can't be opened. Skate shops, for instance, typically where I like to buy my shoes from because they have specialty shoes for skateboarding. Well, they're closed because they're not essential. But Walmart is open. So that means someone might normally go to a smaller boutique shop. Can't do it. The small businesses are suffering due to these lockdowns. So look, I understand that Elon Musk reopening Tesla is not the same thing. But it's strange and almost contradictory that you are going to rag on Elon Musk while complaining that billionaires benefit from this. The people who are saying they want to go in and are going in need to feed their families. It's actually that simple. Well, let's read this story over from the Idaho Statesman. They say Elon Musk becomes champion of defying virus stay-home orders. Now, for the most part, we know they mention that, Trump has tweeted in support of Elon Musk. He says it can be done fast and safely. They say among Musk's biggest critics is California Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzales, who used an expletive to describe the CEO after his threats to relocate his operations to Texas or Nevada. She said the company is disregarding worker safety and bullying public officials. This is what I can't stand about what's going on right now. That's just not true. Look, Elon Musk is not a saint, man. He said a bunch of dumb things in the past. He's gotten in trouble for some of the things he said, and he's a bombastic, eccentric billionaire. Fine. He's not the worst guy in the world, and what he's doing isn't the end of the world. But we seem to have leftists who just want everything shut down for no reason other than Orange Man bad, I suppose. I really do think that's why we are seeing sustained shutdowns. Not because anything makes sense. Elon Musk actually tweeted about this. It's kind of funny. First, he tweeted a thank you to Donald Trump when Trump said the plant should be reopened. Then we saw this from the Third Row Tesla podcast. Tesla should open. Gavin Newsom, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Treasury Secretary, and the U.S. Tesla shouldn't open. One unelected county official, TSLAQ, cancel culture morons. Yeah, that's about it. But the cancel culture morons goes beyond that. It's many leftists. It's Democrats like Lorena Gonzales, who doesn't even rep this area. Well, maybe she does. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think she does. I think she's in San Diego. The Thorough Podcast says, when both Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump agree on something, it is not a controversial idea. Those are the two last people who are going to agree on a political issue. Musk says it's not often that the governor of California and the president agree, and that's a fair point. So let's take a look at what's actually going on in this country, how the lockdown is bad. So the reason I want to drive home that point about Elon Musk reopening his plant is because the president and the governor agree. But why are leftists arguing his plant should be shut down? He's created a comprehensive safety program. I'm not saying it's the best or whatever, but he should be good to go, right? Take a look at what's really happening. As hospitals lose revenue, more than 1 million healthcare workers lose their jobs. NPR reports Michael Sweeney could barely sleep. The nurse in Plymouth, Massachusetts, had just learned she would be furloughed. She only had 4 hours the next day to call all of her patients. I was in a panic state. I was sick over it. Our patients are the frailest, sickest group. Sweeney works for Atrius Health as a case manager for patients with chronic health conditions and those who have been discharged from the hospital or emergency room. It's very devaluing, like a slap in the face. Nursing is who you are. I've never been unemployed my entire life. It's an ironic twist. As the coronavirus pandemic sweeps the nation, the very workers tasked with treating those afflicted with the virus are losing work in droves. Emergency room visits are down. Non-urgent surgical procedures have largely been put on hold. Healthcare spending fell 18% in the first 3 months of this year, and 1.4 million healthcare workers lost their jobs in April, a sharp increase from the 42,000 reported in March. According to the Labor Department, nearly 135,000 of the April losses were in hospitals. What did Rand Paul tweet something about this? That, look, man, let me just point out the strange circumstances that puts the United States in a pandemic and they are actually furloughing, firing, and laying off healthcare workers. Something doesn't make sense. Perhaps the hospitals needed more funding. I don't know. But many hospitals aren't being overrun. The hot spots are in key places like New York. Some hospitals in New York are being overrun. Many are not. So to see this shows us something isn't right. Study after study has come out showing the mortality rate is substantially lower than we thought. This might actually be the second wave. Many more people have caught the coronavirus than previously thought, meaning many people are asymptomatic. Many people have already gotten it. The mortality rate is down. These are all factors in reopening the economy. But when you combine that with the UN report, 130 million potentially starving, supply chain disruption, 1 in 5 Wendy's, no beef. So listen, we don't want people to starve. We don't want our healthcare workers losing their jobs. Earlier today, there was a flyover for fighter jets above my house. The New Jersey Air Guard did a flyover in honor of frontline workers. Well, frontline workers are actually losing their jobs right now, about 1 million. Perhaps there's something we need to do to slowly get things reopened. Where is the logic then in people just coming out and smearing and attacking Elon Musk? Well, look, this is the game they've played from the get-go. They just don't like the guy. Remember the story about CNN and ventilators? I'm very confused. by what the left has been doing lately. Honestly, I have no understanding of what their logic is. Did you know that there was a leftist protest group that protested an emergency field hospital because it was run by Christians? Why would you protest? Like, that's the one thing you can agree on, right? Or how about when Elon Musk was sending ventilators to hospitals across the country? They actually smeared him over this. You know what, man? I think there's two factors here. Elon Musk is a high-profile figure. People know that when they write about him, when they do videos about him, they're going to get a bunch of clicks. Okay, I don't do a bunch of arbitrary Elon Musk videos, mind you, but my last video did very well. Got like 500,000 views. These media companies see this. So Elon Musk says he's going to send ventilators to these hospitals. He did. They were non-invasive ventilators, like CPAPs and BiPAPs. They're not the ones where the tube goes into the lungs. It's the one where you wear the mask. So CNN writes a smear piece arguing that he never delivered them. Why? Makes no sense. And when he came out and actually proved it, essentially, I shouldn't, but here's what happened. The hospital said, here's a list of things we want. Elon Musk said, we just delivered them what they asked for. In fact, one of the doctors who apparently received these ventilators said, we're converting them into invasive ventilators. It's very easy. CNN doubles down and smears him again. So here's what I think happens. For some reason, you have this crony establishment of media elites and leftists and Democrats. I think because Donald Trump ran on many moderate positions, it forced the Democrats to adopt positions that were more extreme. The media then followed in turn. But one of the other strategies they've had, and we've all seen it, is no matter what Trump says, it must be wrong. No matter what Trump supporters say, it must be wrong. Protesters must be wrong. Therefore, when Elon Musk comes out and his position inadvertently aligns with Donald Trump, that's it. That's enough. And now everything he does must be wrong. If he gives ventilators to hospitals, they rag on him for it. Why? If he says, we're going to reopen this plant, if you want to work, you can, they rag on him for it and accuse him of actually putting people at risk. Well, wouldn't they be at risk if they can't feed their kids? I mean, that's the statement we saw from The Verge. It's either we feed our families or go hungry at this point. So Elon Musk is doing these people a favor, but apparently it's not good enough. What is enough for these people is to just always find a reason to attack anybody who might agree with the president. And that's it. I've been smeared before. I've been accused of being a conspiracy theorist simply because I've said things like Trump is not that bad. That's apparently enough to get you attacked, berated in the press. But other people are starting to stand up. Check this out from the Washington Post. Colorado restaurant that illegally reopened without social distancing now ordered to close. It's not Trump country. It's not MAGA country. It's regular people. You know, I do find it interesting that we see polls emerging that regular Americans say it's too soon to reopen. We can't reopen. You know, we're too worried. Yet we see stories like this. So this Castle Rock, Colorado, it's called CNC Coffee and Kitchen. They reopened, packed house. Everybody wanted to go. None of these people were scared. They're not wearing masks. They didn't care. And guess what? Not all white people. Not all Trump conservatives. The left narrative is very, very strange. The data would suggest at this point that we were wrong about the mortality rate. Now, that doesn't mean it's completely safe. Because it's a novel virus, many more people will likely catch this. And yes, we will see many people lose their lives. So we have to be careful. Elon Musk is doing that. Now, this is what you get when you don't act reasonably. This restaurant apparently just reopened and said, whatever. No social distancing. We've seen barbershops and salons open. They are wearing masks. They do have special rules and hand sanitizers and things like that. The protesters have talked, not all of them, about properly social distancing. Many have. But when you don't give people an option, they just defy you. The funny thing is that over in New York City, we can see the worst of this. You have all of these, upper middle class people, mostly white people in Central Park and Prospect Park, in wealthier areas of the city, going about their business, having no problems. But the Jewish community and the black community are being targeted by the NYPD more heavily. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know, but that's just the data that we're getting. You can argue that it has to do with class or poverty or whatever, or you can argue that Mayor Bill de Blasio is a bigot and a bunch of other awful things. But then you see what happens in smaller towns, and you'll see that people just don't expect to be bullied, and they don't respect double standards. If people in certain areas are given special privileges, if Walmart is given special privileges, why should I have to shutter my business while these big billion-dollar companies benefit? If Elon Musk says that we're going to have special protections, what's the real problem? people have a right to choose. The craziest thing about this tribal narrative having to do with Musk is that regular workers have no agency, that none of us are smart enough to choose for ourselves. Oh, but they argue. They argue, yes, but you're putting other people at risk by not wearing a mask and by going out. Okay, listen, if you want to stay home and you're scared of getting sick, you're allowed to do that. There's no argument for you saying other people shouldn't be allowed. I guess you can argue that people are stupid and you don't think they realize they'll get sick. Nah, I think that makes literally no sense. I'm sorry. I do not agree with that. Look, let's say everyone outside my home was all doing normal stuff and they all got sick. If I stayed home, I would be fine. And if I wanted to go out, I can just put on like protective gear, like a mask and gloves and hand sanitize and probably be okay. Now, you can argue that it increases my risk, but what obligation do other people have to me as personally? This is what the strangest thing about this is. If a person says to the press, I need to feed my family, what right does this other wealthy Robert guy have to tell this person he shouldn't be allowed to feed his family? There are people who want to work. I understand many of you might not want to. I understand many people may say it is wrong for these restaurants to reopen. Then don't go there. Are you concerned about other people getting sick? Well, guess what? They made the choice to go outside as well. Do you think someone's going to cough into a vent into your house and then you'll get sick because everyone's walking around? No. And listen, if you want to argue that when you're getting supplies or when you're getting packages, you're at risk of getting COVID, you still are no matter what. Right now, people are still going to stores. They aren't shut down. Big billionaires are benefiting from this. The data doesn't support the lockdown at this point. We're facing a greater risk, and people should have the choice. Now, look, there's a lot of weird stuff happening. YouTube will probably ban this video, I don't know, because I'm speaking out against government decree, I suppose. Not necessarily, though. What I'm advocating for is things should be reopened. Guess what? This is the main point I'm trying to make here. California did reopen. They did. So what has Elon Musk done wrong other than Trump agrees with him? This is why we cannot have real arguments. This is why we are in trouble as a country. If the left-wing faction is simply arguing for shutting things down because they want their sport team to win, then how do we actually function as a country? This is where things start to get scary for me because it looks like, in my opinion, and I have many people who agree with me, maybe just because of my bubble, that many conservatives, not all, agree with rational, sound policy towards reopening. Of course, there are many conservatives that are just in this for the tribal politics of Team Trump. But we're not getting any sane and rational argument from the left. They're saying things like F Elon Musk. That woman, Lorena Gonzales, just came out and said, F Elon Musk. No argument. He's called awful and evil and risking people's lives, but they're ignoring literally all of the data and the news that's happening. I guess my question is, because it's part of a bigger frustration I expressed the other night, how do you talk to these people? And what do we do when they have an equal vote and they care not for the science, they care not for the facts, they only want things shut down because they hate Trump? What happens if you hate Trump too and you come out and say, but I need my business back? Are they going to accuse you of being a Trump supporter? They're going to say we need to lock everything down, otherwise people get sick. Okay, well, what happens when everyone starves to death? I don't know, man. Look, let me tell you this. This is a stupid news cycle. We are facing one of the stupidest problems and crises of our country's history. I understand that in the beginning we were all a little scared. I was. I raised the flags. I said, locking down makes sense. Should we be allowing people to break quarantine, things like that? But at this point, I think the data suggests we have to slowly start reopening. And even if I'm not saying Dr. Fauci is wrong or anything. No, I think he's right. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's saying we got to be careful about a second wave and all that stuff. Absolutely, 100%. But when we're running out of food, when people can't feed their families, stimulus won't solve that problem. Simply attacking Elon Musk because he's giving people the choice makes no sense. I don't know how we overcome this because it seems like logic is out the window, but I'll leave it there. Elon Musk, somehow a new leader in the culture war tribalism of lockdowns. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. at youtube.com/TimCastNews, and I will see you all then.